Welcome to Get Healthy with Dr. Erin. I'm Dr. Erin Acevedo, and I am really excited to be here tonight. My mission is to help people improve their health. And people come to me with a variety of symptoms. I see people for back pain, for neck pain, for headaches, muscle spasms, herniated discs, sciatica, tingling and numbness into the arms, hands, and feet, sports injuries, and a variety of other health complaints. And the way I help them is by checking their spine. This is a model of the spine, and I'm going to explain a little bit about the spine and how it affects your health. Not only do I work on the spine, but I also counsel people on nutrition and stress management. So those are like my three basic focuses in the office. The structure is the bottom of the pyramid, and then the nutrition side is the one side of the pyramid, and the stress management is the other side. So by working those three angles, I'm able to help people get well. The first thing I want to talk about is headaches. I get a lot of people coming in with headaches, and usually I go about that with helping them with the muscle spasms in the upper back, and I also check their spine for misalignments, especially in the cervical spine. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about the cervical spine. You have the spinal cord is protected by the bony skeleton, and you've got vertebrae that are sort of stacked up with little cushions in between. Those are called the discs. We also have nerves that exit the spine. Then the brain, all the information on how to run your body is in the brain. It travels down the spine, and then the nerves innervate your arms and the organs and the muscles. Every cell in your body gets information from the nervous system. So with headaches, I often see misalignments in the spine. Just a lot of different types of things can cause misalignments, such as whiplash injury, car accidents, falls, even stress and poor diet can affect the spine. I will adjust the spine. I will also adjust the cranium, and I will have the patient do a diet history, because that can also be a factor in headaches, and teach them some stress management tools. I'm going to share a couple little case histories from patients I've seen and how they responded to chiropractic care. The first patient was a 50-year-old woman who had headaches every day for 2 years, and she complained that sometimes they were serious enough to be called migraines. I did a comprehensive exam on her, and then I noticed that her spine was out of alignment. Actually, her whole nervous system was on overload, and I had to adjust the entire spine. Even though it's headaches, you think headaches are just the neck. I had to adjust the entire spine and her cranium. And she came back, I think after the second adjustment, her headaches were gone, and she was thrilled. And I love helping people get well, and it's so rewarding to me to see people responding to chiropractic care. I'll share another story. This one was a little more unusual because it wasn't just structural that we had to do. We did a nutritional approach. It was a 16-year-old girl, and she had very bad headaches, so bad that she wasn't able to go to school. She had a lot of absences from school. I think she was absent 30 days from school, and the parents were getting calls from the principal saying that she needs to be in school, and this was a big problem, and they were doing everything they could to help her, but the medicine wasn't working. So they came in to see me, and we started out with chiropractic care. Some minor results with chiropractic care, but luckily I also do nutrition, and I was able to do a diet history and found out she had some food intolerances. So we put her on a special diet, eliminating the food intolerances, and within 10 days her headaches had cleared up, and she was back at school, and she's been fine since. So I was really excited to help her get well, and I want to help you get well as well. So people are invited to come into my office. Please call, make an appointment, and I want to meet you. I want to hear your story. I want to work together with you to help you get well. Another symptom that I see a lot in my office is back pain. Back pain can be caused by a variety of problems. There could be, again, you could get misalignments in the spine. You could have a pinched nerve in your back. You could have a herniated disc. This is an example of a herniated disc right here. Different types of muscle imbalances could cause the spine to become unsupported. I do, in my office, test 64 muscles throughout your entire body. When I'm working with low back pain, I'll test the quadratus lumborum, which is these muscles right here in the back. I'll test the psoas muscle, which attaches to the front of the vertebral bodies, and it also attaches to the leg. It's responsible for flexion. I see a lot of imbalances in that muscle, and we are able to correct them with chiropractic care and some massage techniques that I use in the office very easily, and restore proper balance into the spine. Herniated disc, I'm just going to give an example of a patient that came to me with a herniated disc problem, and he responded very quickly to chiropractic. This patient, I'll call him Luke, and he is a construction worker, and he didn't know why he had back pain. He just felt like his back was in excruciating pain, and the pain was going down into his legs. So I quickly surmised that it was probably a disc problem. We evaluated the muscle skeletal system. It was a psoas muscle that was weak on one side, spasming on the other. We balanced that out. He made a very quick recovery. Sometimes people recover very quickly, and I love to see people recover quickly. It was very exciting for me to help him, and I never know, how quickly people will recover, but he did recover quickly, Luke. Numbness into the hands is another common complaint. You hear a lot of people complaining of carpal tunnel syndrome or pain into the arms. I do an evaluation on the patient and to see, is the pain coming from the wrist? Is it coming from the elbow? Is it coming from the shoulder? Or is it coming from the neck? Those are kind of the common places I would see a pinched nerve. Well, as you know, all the nerves that travel into the hands come from the neck and the upper back. So an evaluation of this part of the spine is really important, although other areas of the spine could be involved. And I always check the whole person, because it always surprises me how even foot problems or low back problems can cause problems in the neck. A car accident, an old car accident that didn't heal. So with the numbness and the tingling into the hands, I'll look for possibly even a herniated disc, a cervical disc. And I sometimes do adjustments on the spine, restore the proper alignment, and the arm pain and the numbness and the tingling go away very nicely. Vitamins can be a big part of anybody's recovery. The numbness and tingling that go into the arms and the hands, I have found many cases where the neck flexors were weak, and that was being, a person actually needed a vitamin. I use B6 to help strengthen the neck flexors, and they respond really well to that. I look at the whole person. I look at their dietary status, their vitamin status, and if there's deficiencies, I work to replace them, and it can make a huge difference. I've seen inflammation go down with vitamin B6, and also I will address if there's an inflammation issue. It could be caused by an injury, because that's a natural reaction to an injury, is to get inflammation, and you hear people say, oh, use an ice pack and get some anti-inflammatories in there. But I also work with the diet, because some types of chronic inflammation are actually coming from parts of the diet. I'm going to tell you another case of a woman with bilateral carpal tunnel. And it wasn't actually a structural problem. It wasn't in her neck, and it wasn't muscle spasms, but it was actually coming from her diet. And when she removed dairy products from her diet, she got better. And that was within, I think it was 3 days. She immediately felt relief. The inflammation in her body started going down, and then the inflammation in her wrists went down, and then the nerves were able to communicate and send signals into her hands without any interference, so the pain went away. So that's an example of, getting to the cause of the problem, and it's not always what we expect it will be. I'm always being surprised every day in the office, and that's one thing I love about my practice. It's a great surprise to see who's going to come in and how am I going to help them. Sometimes I feel like I'm Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out what's causing these problems. Fatigue is a really big issue that I see, and many people are suffering from fatigue issues. I do a symptom survey in the office, and often the top 1 or 2 complaints is fatigue. They're just tired, and they don't know why they're so tired. And they may go to their doctor, and the doctors do tests and stuff, and then, oh, you're fine. But if somebody is feeling fatigue, I take it seriously. and I have a whole program. I was very influenced by Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum. He is a medical doctor who treats fibromyalgia, and I learned a lot about his approach to fatigue. So I'm going to share a little bit about that, so maybe you will benefit as well, because it's hard to, live your life if you're tired all the time. Now, the approach involves a program. It's not just one thing that is going to make fatigue go away. It's a multi-faceted approach. So I'll just outline the basic tenets of the approach. Of course, fatigue, you think, are you sleeping? Are you getting enough rest? And surprisingly, a lot of people are not getting the quality sleep that they need. It's recommended to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep a day at night and uninterrupted, and you should wake up feeling refreshed. If you're not feeling refreshed in the morning, there's something going on. So as well as, I'm going to outline the basic approach, and then we'll go deeper into each section. So it's checking for sleep issues, it's checking for hormones, hormone imbalances, it's checking for digestive disturbances, and I also check nutrition, of course, and exercise. So that's the five elements to the fatigue program. I call it a lifestyle reset. So getting back to sleep, sleep is vital to your well-being. So I'm going to just go over a couple of things that can go on with sleep and a couple of presentations that I see with people. Often people complain of, well, they can't fall asleep. They're too edgy, they're too geared up, their mind is racing 100 miles an hour, and they can't fall asleep. So that's a situation that usually involves high cortisol levels. I don't know if you have heard of the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are small glands located on top of the kidney, right in the back, and they produce adrenaline. It gives you that get up and go, gives you the energy to run or run away from a tiger, or it gives you the energy to climb a mountain or stay up all night working on a term paper. So this is what adrenaline is great for. If you're walking outside and a city bus runs by you, you get that surge of adrenaline and you back up. So it saves your life. It protects you from a saber-toothed tiger that's chasing after you in the jungle. So it's a good thing to have, but the problem is that people get too stressed out and they're running on adrenaline all the time, and then when it comes time to go to sleep at night, they can't fall asleep. So that's a common problem, and what I do for that is I usually recommend the herbs, the adaptogenic herbs for that, ashwagandha, and some vitamin supplements called phosphatidylcholine. It's a way of getting the cortisol out of your blood so that you can sleep well, and it works beautifully. Another sleep problem that I see is people that wake up in the middle of the night. They go to sleep fine, and then they all of a sudden wake up in the middle of the night. So that's actually a problem having to do with blood sugar imbalances. And if you're eating a lot of carbohydrates throughout the day, especially in the evening time, it's going to cause a rise in the blood glucose, and then you'll go to sleep fine, but then that'll drop down, like in the middle of the night. You won't be expecting it. And all of a sudden, the blood sugar's going to drop, and what will happen is you'll wake up because your body's saying, I'm hungry, feed me. So it can be really disruptive to your sleep to have to wake up in the middle of the night and eat. So what I recommend for that, to help people sleep through the night, is before you go to bed, have a protein snack, and without any carbohydrates at all, and you should sleep really well right through the night. A couple more things about sleep. Restless leg is a common phenomenon. Restless leg is when you're sleeping, but your legs just start jumping around, and it wakes you up and it disturbs your sleep. So there's some vitamin, it's a sign of like iron deficiency, or it could be a sign of magnesium deficiency. So we evaluate that so that you are taking some supplements before you go to bed, so you don't have the deficiencies and your legs calm down and you don't have restless leg anymore. It's pretty easy to treat. There may be dietary changes as well. Sleep is vital, so I really want to go over these sleep issues. Sometimes people will have what's called sleep apnea, and they just stop breathing in the middle of the night. It often happens to people who are overweight and have a collar size of 17 inches or greater. So the way to determine if sleep apnea is keeping you from getting a nice, sound, restful sleep is to get a video camera and videotape yourself while you're sleeping and then watch to see, do you stop breathing, are you snoring, and if you do notice that you do stop breathing, I recommend seeing your primary care doctor about that, because there is different treatments that you can get. The idea is to resolve the sleep problem so you can sleep soundly and that you're not tired the next day. We want you to have plenty of energy. And I think we covered most of the sleep issues. With a good night's sleep, you should wake up revitalized and refreshed. Magnesium is another great supplement to take. It helps to relax the body and helps you go to sleep. I recommend anywhere between 120 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams a day of magnesium, especially taken in the evening to promote sleep. Leg cramps are very easily treated with either magnesium, calcium, or coenzyme Q10. A lot of people are on medicine that lowers their cholesterol, and unfortunately that does deplete the body of coenzyme Q10. So a way to compensate for that is to take coenzyme Q10 as a supplement. It's very easy to find in the health food store. Digestive issues that could affect sleep. If you're tired, if you have fatigue, I just want to mention that it could be coming from your digestion not working properly. So there's a lot of things going on with the digestive system. One of the things that I like to focus on is motility, making sure that things are moving through the digestive system smoothly. Especially want to avoid constipation. And magnesium is a great treatment for constipation. And again, I recommend between 120 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams a day to alleviate constipation, because one of the important things about the digestion is you want things moving in and moving out. If things aren't moving, that's when bacteria can start building up, toxins can be absorbed into your bloodstream, you could get gut dysbiosis, and all kinds of problems. And then people don't feel well. They feel horrible. They feel bloated. They have gas, and their energy goes down, and they're fatigued. So it's very, very important to address any digestive problems when someone is fatigued. And I have a comprehensive approach in my office to do this. Another thing I want to talk about in terms of improving your energy level, having all that energy that you need, is hormone imbalances. There are several hormones that are involved with your energy. I mentioned adrenaline. And adrenaline will get depleted if you're always running around ragged. You sort of run out of adrenaline, and that can be a problem. So we have to restore the adrenal glands using herbs and using lifestyle changes. The triad of health, it's the structural balance of the body, and then it's the nutritional, and then the other side is stress management. And with the adrenal glands, we often have to address stress management issues. People often have to make lifestyle changes. Instead of running around, filling their schedule up with too many activities, they have to learn to slow down and just prioritize, and I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And they're going to learn to relax. There's so many health benefits to relaxation. And I want to talk about the relaxation response, which is a system for relaxing that came from Dr. Herbert Benson. He's a medical doctor that was practicing in Boston at Harvard University. I think he graduated from Harvard, and he has 20 years of research on how relaxation will help restore the body, help rejuvenate your whole system. It can heal many, many illnesses. high blood pressure and diabetes and psoriasis, and so many illnesses can be either eliminated or improved significantly with the relaxation response. It's very simple to do, and there's only 3 simple steps you have to do, and it involves finding a quiet place. So it's something you do every day. It's a lifestyle reset. It's a change that you welcome into your life to make your life better. So the 3 steps for the relaxation response is to find, 1, a quiet place where you can sit in a comfortable position. The other, step 2 is find a comfortable position. I like to just sit in a chair and close my eyes. And then you chant or say a very simple word. They recommend the word 1. And you just say 1. Your eyes are closed. 1. And you just keep saying the word 1 as slowly as you want. And if you start to get distracted by other thoughts, maybe you start to think about your to-do list or things you, did I, lock the front door, whatever. If you start to think about something else, you go back to thinking about your word. And then 20 minutes later, your body chemistry is completely changed. Stress hormones are going down. Healing energy is coming up, and your whole body is being revitalized. So this is a great way to deal with fatigue issues. And I'm just going to mention, you can choose any word you want. And I have a favorite word that I use, and I like to hew, H-U. And it's sung like, hew. And I just keep that hue rolling and singing it out, and I feel so relaxed. I feel connected to my higher self, and I like to also imagine my heart expanding with love and just feeling calm and centered in who I truly am. It's a great refreshment to do the relaxation response once a day for 20 minutes. We're going to also talk about nutrition. Nutrition is vital for healing any kind of fatigue issues. A healthy diet is something that I go over carefully with each patient that comes into my office. And there may be dietary changes. One thing that I look for in the diet, and this is sort of a hormonal diet-related issue, is blood sugar. The American diet is very high in carbohydrates. It's a very heavy carbohydrate diet. And I know we've got the food pyramid that was put out by the government in, I think it was 1992. And there's, the base of it is America's whole grain goodness. And there's a lot of politics, I believe, that go into the food pyramid. And I'm not going to get into that today, but I am going to talk about how important it is to make sure your blood sugar is balanced, because if you eat a lot of whole grains and a lot of starches and a lot of sugars, it's going to affect your blood sugar, and it's going to it may lead to fatigue issues. To be honest with you, some people are more sensitive to this problem than others. For example, American Indians, they are more sensitive to the refined carbohydrates and the sugars, and if they eat them, their body just doesn't handle them well, and they end up gaining a lot of weight, and they have diabetes, and they have high blood pressure, and they have high cholesterol. And then while other ethnic groups can eat them and they feel fine, they're happy and they're doing well. So it's really very much an individual issue, but it is an issue that does relate to fatigue. I have very strong opinions about sugar and carbohydrates, and if people are ill, I encourage them to try to cut down on the carbohydrates, increase the proteins, increase the fish, increase the healthy fats, and have that sustained energy that keeps you going throughout your day and being the best you can be. Adrenal stress is also another problem that I deal with in the office. And I often recommend a vitamin program to help restore the adrenals. That's kind of like my baseline. It's lifestyle and it's vitamins. I give B vitamins, I give pantothenic acid, I give vitamin C. There's certain herbs that I'll be using. And I see people, big changes in energy and big changes in fatigue going away. So food cravings are a really important issue because a lot of people want to be healthy. They want to eat a healthy diet and they know how important it is. But the problem is they get food cravings. So I just want to talk a minute about food cravings. How do we get rid of food cravings? The biggest thing with food craving is going back to the blood sugar. Like I said, everybody has their own sensitivities to this, but if blood sugar can tend to cause more cravings. And when you eat some sugar, you may get more cravings for sugar. It becomes a vicious cycle. It's like the commercial. You can't just eat one Doritos. You know, you want to eat the whole bag because of all the carbohydrates in there can cause cravings. So what I recommend for people is a 3-week detox program where you are not eating any of these refined carbohydrates for 3 weeks. And it's amazing how the cravings will go away. So it's a simple program, but it does take a commitment. And I believe if people are really suffering with food cravings, they just want to get rid of them, the 3-week, or I also have a 10-day detox that I do as well for people that don't have 3 weeks of time. We could just do the 10-day one. And I find that once people get the results and the cravings are gone, they just want to keep going. And because they love feeling great, they love having energy, and their whole system is vitalized. And they don't realize that it's just a couple of steps away. You can go from feeling fatigued and exhausted to feeling fabulous and energized in a couple of simple steps. It's not a big deal. It's not this wall of concrete. It's just something that you can just tiptoe up to and you just jump over it, and then you're on the other side feeling fabulous. I want to encourage people to look at this as a learning process. It's not like you're sick or you're healthy. You're learning how to navigate the world that we live in. You may need to try something new. Anytime someone has a health problem, I try to tell them, let's change something, and then maybe you'll get better. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. That's the idea of why we want to change something. And to be open, have a positive attitude, a learning attitude, that this is a process. We are a work in progress. And let's take in a couple of good things into our lives and maybe let go of a couple of things that aren't serving us. And that's the journey to health. And I want to invite everybody to take the next step to better health. Please call my office. I am really excited to meet you, to talk to you, and help you on your journey home. The Blood Sugar Solution is a great book by Dr. Mark Hyman. He is one of my mentors, and he has developed a whole program where he takes people and he teaches them about a healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, and he teaches them about the dangers of eating too much sugar and how it can just have an impact on one's health. One of his studies, I think he did a study of 600 people that did his 10-day detox program. It included completely eliminating sugar. And it may seem hard to do at first, but they did it, and they took all these lab tests before and after, and what they found was a remarkable improvement in their health. The people with high blood pressure, it went down like an average of 10 points. People with high blood glucose or blood sugar on lab tests went down 20 points. People with high cholesterol went down. People lost weight. People lost inches. And the most important thing is that they improved their health. This is something that we can do together. And I just want to mention that in my office I have some groups that I do, and I want to invite you to be part of the groups because I found that getting healthy together is the best way to get healthy. It is so powerful to be in a group of like-minded people and to share your victories and your struggles and look to each other for support, because we're here for each other. And I want to help you, and I want to help everyone to get healthy. Let's just get healthy together. Myofascial trigger points often occur in people as a result of exercising, working out, or even just sitting at a computer for long hours. What happens is the muscles will build up a lot of lactic acid, and it causes them to just tighten up and feel stiff and achy. So in my office, what I do for that is I do a massage technique called myofascial trigger point release. There's a couple of different ways I do it, and the focus is on improving muscle function, and people feel so much better. The interesting thing about myofascial trigger points is the pain may not be in the muscle itself. For example, the upper traps, you may have like these tight muscles and these knots in there, and then when you press on them, it can shoot pain into your head, which is kind of surprising to people. And they feel this pain shooting into their head, and they're like, what is going on? Why am I in so much pain? And they come into the office, and I check them out, and I often find these giant knots in the upper back. And I ask them some questions like, "What are you doing?" And we work with them. We try to get to them to improve their posture. If they're sitting at the computer all day, maybe get up and roll your shoulders back or stretch your head. Just little simple things that they can add to their life and their lifestyle, so that they don't need to be in this tight pain, this tension anymore. And of course, I do my treatments that relieve them tremendously, and they feel better. Healing the body, mind, and spirit is one of my favorite things to do, is to help people integrate body, mind, and spirit and total wellness. When I'm working with patients suffering from fatigue, often we need to go through and heal the digestive system, because it's just under such tremendous stress, and it's causing them a lot of pain and a lot of fatigue issues. So I mentioned I give dietary recommendations. I have them take nutritional supplements. But there's another component, and also I mentioned the relaxation response. That's very important to relaxing the digestive system. Sometimes people can get ulcers and stomach pains because they're just so tense. So doing the 20 minutes a day, just to repeat that, is a great way to calm down the stomach and calm down the digestive system, so that you can eat your food and digest it and feel well. There's another technique that I use, which I call parts work. And that's where you can just take your hand and just talk to kind of connect with your abdomen and your digestive system, and just send it love. Just say, I love you, I want you to be well, I'm here to take care of you. And this is a really loving connection that we can make with our body. And I look at myself as being my higher self, which is the wise, calm, centered, compassionate part of myself. And then I have my parts. And one of my parts is my digestive system. So the wise, calm, compassionate part will talk to the digestive system and say, it's okay, I'm taking care of you. You can relax. And it's a very healing meditation. Sometimes I'll combine that with the relaxation response. And it's amazing the changes and the improvements that I see in people when they start to just send love to their whole body. You can do it also with back pain too. You can do it with neck pain. And sometimes people will get little clues to why they have this pain, and it comes through in a very subtle, gentle way. So that's a great technique. There's another technique I use in my office called emotional freedom technique. This is something where we're working with the stress management part of my wellness program. I've got the structure, the musculoskeletal system on the bottom, then I have the stress management piece is on this side of the triangle, nutrition and diet is on this side. So emotional freedom technique is a wonderful technique that anybody can do. It's very easy to do, and I teach it to people in workshops in my office, and I teach it in individual sessions. The technique was developed initially by Roger Callahan, and then it was later adapted as a way of helping just anybody in the public. It involves tapping meridian points and saying certain phrases. tapping, this is a small intestine meridian, or tapping the stomach meridian, or tapping the bladder meridian, and it just calms the whole body down. And you can tap in phrases that would help you be healthier. Especially if you notice there's some conflict around making health changes. I do this, like say for example, somebody wants to quit smoking, and they want to, but it's so hard and they just can't seem to do it. So a lot of times we have to just backtrack a little and focus on loving yourself, because most healing comes from love. So I have people tap in a phrase like, I totally and completely love myself even though I'm smoking. And you just keep saying that, I totally and completely love myself even though I have this smoking addiction. And you just love yourself through it. Or you say, I choose to love myself even though I'm struggling with this problem. You can make up different phrases. And then you go through the routine. It's tapping under the eyes, it's tapping the eyebrows, it's tapping the outside of the eyebrows. And you just think about the problem, this smoking problem, or whatever your problem is, this stress. And it just calms down the nervous system. I'm just going to tap. Those are the basic points that you tap. And you kind of like go through the routine. You may want to change the wording, and it totally relaxes the nervous system, and it opens the door for healing and change to occur. I'm really excited to talk about food choices. We have so much power in our choices, and it's amazing how we can influence food producing companies, because the more we choose healthy food, the more that the makers of food products will make healthy foods for us to eat. So there's just this wonderful relationship between our food choices and the products that are available out there on the market. And I always encourage people to make healthy choices. But I have also a warning that there are forces out there that are trying to persuade you to make choices that are not healthy. And not that they're deliberately trying to sabotage your wellness plan, but they want to sell their product, basically. So there is some discrimination involved. There's many commercials on TV, and you see people eating this delicious ice cream, and they're so happy, and they're falling in love. And you think, boy, maybe if I go and buy this product, I'm going to feel great. And although it may not be part of your health improvement program. So I'm just going to let you know that there are advertisers that want you to buy their products, whether they're healthy for you or not. So you have to be aware, and you have to make your own choice. Try not to let the ads on TV or in magazines sway you. So I'm going to tell you a little story, a parable about the fox and the wolf and the horse. And this story kind of has a kind of a dramatic bad ending. So it's sort of about what happens if you don't make good choices. So once upon a time, there was a wolf, and he was kind of naive, and he was young. He didn't know a lot about the world, and he was easily misled. So along came a fox, and he was talking to the wolf, and he told the wolf that there was some, come over here and see this, I want to show you something. So they looked into a pasture, and there was a horse, a giant horse in there, and the wolf looked at it and thought, maybe that's food. That could maybe, and the wolf said, yeah, that could be something delicious to eat. Why don't you try it? And the wolf said, oh, okay. And then the fox just kind of nudged him along, because the wolf was not sure. Is this food or is this not food? He wasn't sure. And the wolf just kind of kept nudging him. Yeah, go ahead and try it. It looks good, looks really good. Go for it. And so the wolf crept up to the horse, and the back of the horse was facing the wolf. And as he got really, really close to the horse, just thinking, oh, this is food, I'm going to eat this, it's going to be delicious, the horse kicked him in the teeth. It sent him backwards. He lost 4 teeth. His whole jaw was broken, and he lay there on the ground. A very sad ending for the wolf. I'll let you kind of make your own conclusions with that story. Exercise is an important part of my fatigue program. I love to exercise personally. It is so energizing to exercise. You get your heart rate going, your blood pumping, you get oxygen into your body, your muscles feel strong. It can be a tremendous energy boost to exercise. However, some people are not ready, maybe they're too fatigued or they're just not exercisers. So what I recommend with exercise is to start slowly and maybe if you have a lot of serious fatigue issues, you may need to first implement the getting better sleep, getting better digestion, calming down the cortisol and the blood sugar imbalances, and improving your diet and your nutrition. And then after, say, doing a 10-day detox, then maybe start with some slow exercises. Walking every day is a great way to get some exercise, get some sunshine, get some vitamin D, get some fresh air, and slowly increase to what I recommend when you are feeling better. And it's just, I'm telling you, it's just a matter of 10 days of doing this detox program, and you will be feeling fabulous. Then what I recommend is interval training, and it's really an economical use of your time. You can alternate from different activities like running and walking, or just walking fast and walking slow. You can do a treadmill, you can do a bicycle, but the idea is 30 minutes of high-intensity aerobics, and then a minute and a half of low-intensity walking or just cycling at a slow pace. That's my basic interval program, and you can throw in push-ups, you can throw in sit-ups, and alternate those. So the program that I like to use in the office, I have in my office, and I have it on my website, and if you call me, I will send it to you. But it's a program that involves step aerobics, push-ups, sit-ups, and some hand weights. And in less than 20 minutes, you can do a complete full body workout very easily. And if you are having some trouble getting going with exercise, maybe you have pretty serious fatigue issues, and that seems like a hurdle that you're just not going to be able to get over, what I teach is energy medicine, which can be done sitting in a chair. And there's some very simple energy points on your body that you work these points and you energize your body that way. I also teach a class in energy medicine, so call my office or come in to see me, and we'll set you up with an energy medicine routine that's specifically tailored to your needs. I test each of the energy medicine routines to make sure that we're designing a program that's right for you and that's going to get your energy flowing again. All right, part of healing the digestive system and is trying to get the toxins out of the body. There's many channels of elimination. We want to keep those open and flowing. We have the colon, we have the kidneys and the bladder, you have the skin, you have the liver. All these are ways of getting rid of toxins. So I have a very specific supplement program that encourages elimination of toxins from the liver, phase 1, phase 2 detoxification cycles. And for the bladder and the kidneys, what I recommend is drinking extra water. You've heard 8 cups of water a day, at least at a minimum. And I'll just mention a book about water that I find very, very helpful for people. It's called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And it's written by a medical doctor who found that a lot of people were suffering from dehydration, unbeknownst to them, and a lot of health problems can be caused by dehydration. And the simple thing is that a lot of health problems can be resolved by drinking more water. And there's even a story in the book about somebody who had back pain that was completely resolved, and that's the only thing he did was drink more water. So I want to encourage everyone to make sure they're well hydrated and drink at least 8 cups of water a day to encourage that elimination. You want to eliminate the toxins. The other part of toxins is not to take them in. And the best way to avoid taking in toxins is to really keep the diet as pure and healthy as possible. I recommend organic food whenever possible. Organic free-range chicken, organic free-range beef, fish, organic vegetables. Those are probably the best choices for your diet. You know, fruits, vegetables, anything grown on a farm, or get to know your local farmer and go to the farmers markets. And this is where you can find the real vitamin-rich, organic, healthy food that's going to restore your health and get you going from fatigue to fabulous. Many people suffer from fatigue, and when I evaluate a patient, I look at the hormonal balance that they have in their body. One of the most important hormones to look at when you're thinking of fatigue is the thyroid hormone. The thyroid hormones are produced in the thyroid gland, which is located on your neck, and there are actually receptor sites for thyroid hormone in every cell of your body. So it's kind of the way we get energy. And if you don't have enough thyroid hormone, people will feel very tired. And it's kind of like this steady, low tiredness. And they just don't ever really feel like they have any energy. Some of the symptoms of low thyroid is lethargy, low energy, no ambition. It can be dry skin. You often see a thinning of the eyebrow on the lateral third. People could get, women will suffer from miscarriages. They'll be crying easily. They will have constipation. They'll have digestive disturbances and edema on their eyelids. There's a couple other symptoms as well. The best way that I mean, I can hear when I'm talking to somebody, it's like they're tired. They're really exhausted. And it's not that they're depressed. And it's kind of unfortunate that this symptom is not well diagnosed in most doctors' offices. If women are particularly prone to this because their hormonal systems are more complex than men. So they have more hormones to deal with, and then if they're under stress, their hormones, are affected. But the typical, thyroid patient will be complaining of, I don't have any energy, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't have any motivation, I can't do anything. And then the doctors will think, it's often misdiagnosed with depression. They'll say this person sounds depressed, so they give them an antidepressant. And studies have shown that antidepressants do not help thyroid. It doesn't help people make more thyroid hormone. There actually was a study done that involved antidepressants coupled with thyroid hormone, and those people did feel better. They started to get better because it was probably more from the thyroid hormone than the antidepressant, and there's certain cases where doctors will prescribe thyroid hormone with the antidepressants because it makes a difference. So one way that I diagnose the thyroid problems is to do a basal body temperature test. And in my office, I have one of these temporal scans. So you just quickly scan the forehead, and you get a reading on what the person's temperature is. And 98.6 is the ideal temperature for the body. It's that way for a reason. We need a warm body to run all the processes, the enzyme reactions. They need heat to have them happen. And if the temperature drops low, it's just like on a cold day, you just don't feel like moving around. You just want to kind of like do nothing because you're too cold. So we got to get the temperature up to a normal temperature, and then the person will have more energy, and they'll be able to move around, and they'll start thinking better, and they'll also lose weight. It's such an important part of the fatigue program is to address the thyroid hormone. Another thing that I find really helpful is iodine. Some people are actually low in iodine, and that's very easily taken as a supplement because the thyroid, in order to make thyroid hormone, you need iodine, and our soils are a little bit deficient in iodine, so it often has to be supplemented. And people make a very quick recovery. I've seen nice improvements with just simple iodine being added to the diet and to the supplement program. People, they get their energy back, they lose weight, they start living their life again. It can make a huge difference. And if your doctor is not really responding to your concerns, I just recommend people to keep looking for another doctor. There's doctors that are trained in anti-aging medicine and holistic medicine, functional medicine. These are the type of doctors you want to go to that have experience in treating the thyroid, because the lab tests are often misleading. People can have perfect lab tests that say, oh, this person has normal levels of thyroid stimulating hormone, or they have normal levels of T4, and they say, you're fine. You know, the doctor will say, you're fine. And the person's saying, I am exhausted. I can't do anything. I'm freezing. My hands are freezing. My feet are freezing. I have to wear socks to bed. I'm crying all the time. I mean, there's the picture of low thyroid, and the doctor says, the labs are great. You're good. So I just don't want people to give up, to keep looking for an answer. And there is a relationship between the thyroid and the adrenals. One of the distinguishing parts is adrenal people will be exhausted. There's no doubt they're also tired. They maybe really can't get out of bed, they're exhausted, but what happens with the adrenal patient, they may get little bursts. They're gonna, oh, I feel good for a while and I'm getting stuff done, and then they'll drop again. And they do like more of an up and down type of a cycle of energy, while the thyroid person is just always pretty tired. And that's one way I kind of distinguish. But each case is unique, and I'd like to invite you to come into my office and let's talk about your symptoms. Let's take that temperature scan. Let's go over what's happening with you and find out, is it adrenal? Is it thyroid? Or is it blood sugar? You know, blood sugar goes up, blood sugar goes down, people feel tired. The hormone piece is so key to getting well. I'm just going to mention something about stress and women's hormones. Women produce progesterone and estrogen, which is a really important hormone for them. And what happens is if they get under stress, the body, instead of producing progesterone and estrogen, progesterone is very calming. It's kind of like Valium. It just makes you feel relaxed and happy and calm, and all's right with the world. But if you are low in progesterone, which often happens to women, then they get grouchy and upset, and they're really irritable, and they don't know why. So this is like a thing that happens to a lot of women. It could be related to premenstrual syndrome. It could be related to menopause. Different times in a woman's life, they will experience low points of hormones. And what I've studied is that stress is a big factor. If you want your hormones to function at their optimum, stress levels need to be kept at manageable levels. As soon as the stress starts going up, the body starts making cortisol and adrenaline, and these are the things, the fight or flight hormones. And when you're making cortisol and adrenaline, you're not making progesterone, the calm down, feel great and happy hormones. So there's a little bit of a competition. It's sort of like you have two hands. You can either carry this one or that one, but once your hands are full, you're making adrenaline. You can't do another hormone because you're busy. So we have to kind of let go of the stress so we can replenish ourselves, make all the hormones that make us feel great, and recover from fatigue and feel wonderful. I want to invite you to come into my office. If you have neck pain, or if you have back pain, if you have any kind of joint achiness, muscle stiffness, fatigue issues, sleep problems, digestive problems, I treat them all. And I want to help you. So please give me a call. We can set up an appointment. Actually, if you go to my website, I have a free initial consultation. You just type in your name and your email address, and you can have a free consultation with me just to get started. Let's just talk about your concerns and see if we can come up with some really important improvements in your health. Simple things that you can do to make your health better. And I'm here for you. I want to help you on your journey to better health.